All right, guys, so check it out. I had a private lesson today. I think this is our third or fourth with Carol and Mila the Doberman. She's a really cool dog. And I filmed a little bit of it, but I just wanted to explain something that I'm going to try not to ramble on. I tend to do that, but it's important because these are the little details that go overlooked that people don't show or talk about, right? So in the video, it's not very long. It's just us having a good time down at the park out in the country. And the first clip, you're going to see me playing some tug with Mila, which is fantastic because when we first met and started working, she didn't want to play. So we've brought that out of her, and now she's crazy about it and loves it, and we could do so much because of that, right? So that's a plus. Then you're going to see her just running around being a dog. Big open space, loving life, chasing a ball here and there. We're out in the country. There's a creek there. There's woods. There's tons of wildlife. There's all kinds of, apples, trees, and nuts on the ground. So it's a great place to let the dog run, be free, and be a dog and do dog stuff. And you'll see she's really enjoying herself. I can't imagine having a dog, especially like that, and never let them run free off leash. So this kind of goes back to the whole anti-e-collar people and tool ban thing because it's really important. Carol's done a wonderful job with this dog, right? She's a really great dog owner. But like most everyday dog owners, they struggle with a lot of little things because they don't know, right? People tend to do what comes natural to them, what comes natural to the human. And that normally doesn't come natural to the dog. So you will see I have the sound box with me for the e-collar. In case Carol uses it, you would know when, and I would know how and when. So I could fix any mistakes she's making. But you'll see in the video, we never once utilized it while the dog was off leash running free. She never had to use it. That's the goal. The goal for my clients in the end is that the tool is there just in case for that would-have moment. If you're using it every day, we have a problem. We're doing something wrong, okay? But the reason she was so obedient and had nice recalls and was coming away from things she had her nose in was because of what took place when we first met today and sat down and talked. We weren't filming, okay? So when I meet a client, whether it's the first time or the 8th time, first thing I do is I watch them get out of their vehicle. Then we sit down and we talk, right? Talk about where they are, what they're having problems with, all these little things. I won't go on too long. But I'm also watching the dog, and I'm watching how the owner handles little things. So one of the first things that happened was Mila was down by the creek, and she was really interested in something, right, by the creek with tons of wildlife, and Carol was calling her, and she was blowing her off. She wasn't responding, and then I watched Carol get on that remote, and she was just tapping away with no rhyme or reason, and I'm watching this. Okay, so that's not how I teach people. That's not what my clients do, but it's good that I got to see this. And I asked her what she was doing, and she wasn't really sure, right? She's done most of that work on her own. We didn't do much e-collar stuff. I said, okay, so give me the e-collar. I wanted to see what she was doing. Now, this is a very common issue that people do. This is where we get caught up with the low-level stuff and where all the confusion comes into play, right? Yes, we teach in low levels. We do that short conditioning phase on low levels. But then it's really important when we bounce into that intermittent phase, we start testing the dog, new places, new situations, adding a little more pressure. That's what people ignore. Okay, so when I took Carol's remote, I looked at it. She had it locked in on a 10 on a mini educator. Why? Because that's where she was teaching the dog at home, at her house, teaching her the concept of the e-collar, the conditioning phase, all that stuff like a lot of people do. So now because in her head, that's where the e-collar is at home, she comes to this situation, the dog's off leash in a new fresh space with all kinds of real world distractions, and she's ill prepared and has her e-collar on like a level that's going to be meaningless, right? But this is why we do this. This is why I sit down and talk and watch, because it's a great learning opportunity. So I took the e-collar, I changed the setting, and I said, call your dog. She called her one more time, Mila, come. She didn't respond, and when she didn't respond immediately, I tapped the e-collar one time, and Mila came flying over. Not with her head down, not shaken up, not nervous or scared or in pain, right? So I showed her where I moved the e-collar to. I took it from a 10 to a 45, which still, no, I'm sorry, I think a 35. It was on a 35, which is still really nothing. And to top that, Carol has those, it's the comfort pad. It's just a flat comfort pad with little round screws. So it's even more mild than a regular e-collar. Doesn't put off much sensation, right? So we had that conversation. But while we're having that conversation, of course, the dog is antsy. I said, put her in a down over there and let's talk. She put her in a down. And as we're talking, of course, the dog got up right away. And you know, Carol wasn't catching it at first. And I said, okay, this we have to fix, right? Even though we're talking, I'm looking at you, but I still see your dog. You have to be able to do the same, because the second that dog breaks out of the command, we have to address that. Not with the e-collar. We have to address that. I want you to explain to her it's not going to happen. When I ask you to stay here, you have to stay where I put you, right? So we did a few repetitions there. The dog broke it a few times, and then I stepped in and I showed her how to handle that, what we needed to do. And it has nothing to do about being harsh or firm or prong collars and e-collars. There's nothing like that. But we do have to be clear to the dog, which we were. Then we continued to have our conversation, and the dog never moved, okay? This stuff wasn't for the dog. This is for the owner. They're still learning. And to break human habits, what you're used to doing, your mannerisms, your personality, things you've been doing your whole life to make your communication clear with the dog, it's very difficult for people, for everyone. So I tell everybody around the 4th private lesson when we meet, this is where I'm going to start pushing you a little bit and asking for more, and it will start clicking today. Today was our 4th lesson, and we had a bunch of breakthroughs, and things started making more sense, okay? So again, I know this is long. Sorry, guys, I'm going on 8 minutes. But I think it's important that when people see the dog having a good time playing with me and then running free in the field, how do we get there? It's those little things when there aren't a lot of distractions where we get the end result. If we want really good off-leash obedience, we have to do a ton of really good on-leash obedience, okay? So here, just enjoy a beautiful Doberman being a dog, being happy. Stay on her the whole time, and she's going to move fast towards me. Yes. Oh, good girl, sweetie. Oh. Now you love this, right? Oh. Oh, very good. Oh, good one, sweetie. Good one, sweetie. Very nice. Look it. Ready? Out. Good. No. No. Yeah. Out. Yes. Good job, Mama. Good. Oh, very nice. Good job, Mama. Good job. Good job. All done. Free dog.
The basics are not as easy.
Well, it goes against our human habits, a lot of the things that we do with these dogs, right? And that just muddies the waters for them, and we become very inconsistent and not clear to them. And then they struggle in our world because of our lack of communication. So now there's a pumpkin down there, right? When we get to that, that'll be a good opportunity for you to call her away from that, okay? Man, it's beautiful out. Getting a little warm now. Call her now?
Mila, come.
Good. Now just praise her. Just love on her a little bit. Good. Now release her. Good. Now she goes back to being a dog. Very nice. So that's the goal. No e-collar usage. There will be something that she eventually runs into, whether a deer jumps out or she gets her nose in maybe that pumpkin over there again. I don't know. Or by the creek, where we will have to follow up and remind her you can't do that, right? Especially along the creek there. That's where a lot of the dogs dig. Oh, something smells amazing here, right? Yeah. Oh yeah, lots of walnuts. But there's a lot of people that never get to do this with their dog, right? Then the dog lives a very unfulfilled life. Go ahead and call her.
Mila, come.
Now reward her. Throw that ball. Throw that ball. Throw that ball. Slow ass Carol. Slow ass Carol. Atta girl. Let's go, mama. Having a good time with you today. That's what a dog's supposed to look like. Why deprive them of this, right? Force-free, anti-tool people are anti-dog happiness people. That's what it comes down to.